Good morning, Heaven. Good morning, Morgan. Welcome in. Thank you for being here. How are you two doing today? I apologize if you can hear my squeaky chair. I tried as hard as I could to get it to quiet down, but alas, this chair is nearing the end of its life. I'll just have to try not to move too much. Great, how are you doing? I'm doing well. I'm glad to hear it. Hanging in there with work. Work has been very busy, but that's nothing new. I'm getting a sort of informal, which kind of sucks, but it's the way it is. An informal promotion. So I am getting even busier at work. So, but that's alright. Hopefully, it is a step towards good things. I also just got back from the store. I had to run really quick to pick up prescriptions and a couple other things. So I need to actually boot my Discord back up so I can ping. Squeaky chair. Can you hear that? I'm assuming you can hear it because my mic lights up as if it's being picked up. Let me see. Okay, of course, now as soon as I move it, it doesn't do anything. Hold on. I don't know how much of that. I don't know how much of that my mic picked up, but it's definitely squeaky. I'm very frugal. Excuse me. I'm very frugal. So when I got this chair, it was not new to me. So it's already been through the ringer. One of the armrests, one of the screws holding it in, has already popped off. So the armrest, is, so the armrest is wobbly and everything. I need to get a new chair. I'm very frugal, and I do this with everything. Babel can attest to this, and I guess if you saw it in the Discord, you'll know that I tend to use my things until they disintegrate. So my phone, my car, my chair, if I can still use something, I'm not replacing it. But I do need to eventually replace this chair. So if for nothing else, that there's not going to be any squeaks on the Discord or on the stream. Well, either one. Babel, welcome in. Good morning or good evening for you. I used my college workbook to press a bunch of flowers and they all just fell out. Oh no. Are they safe? Depends on how dry they are, I guess, how delicate they are. Correct me if I heard right. You got a promotion. I did. So I received an informal promotion, which means I didn't get a raise, which is not fun. My boss is equally not thrilled about it. Um, but just due to the general corporate America hellscape, um, the fact that I'm also I work for a healthcare vendor, and healthcare is in a, uh, how to say this in a nice way without getting too political. Things are not particularly stable when it comes to healthcare. Um, so my company is being very careful with how it budgets and how it spends its money, which I understand. Um, but ultimately, there is a leadership position in my team that needs to be filled because there are things that need to be done. And my colleagues on my team and my boss have all said, yes, we think that he's the right fit for the position and he should be doing this. Um, So yeah, it's an informal promotion because I don't get a pay increase, unfortunately, at this time. But it is more experience on my resume, and hopefully it means that I can argue for a raise eventually. I do think that I will still be getting my merit increase, which if you're not familiar, if you don't work corporate, you might not be familiar with that term, but a merit increase is every year of service with the company, you get a small raise of some kind, a certain percentage increase to your salary. So I should still be getting that later this year. It'll be over the summer. But yeah, so it's good, but also kind of frustrating. But it's the way the world works at the moment. So it mostly just means that I'm going to be a lot more busy because I'm taking on a lot more responsibility, which is okay. I'm up for that. And it's part of, ultimately my career is my focus because it's what pays the bills. So it's what lets me publish my work. It's yeah, so I gotta focus on it. But it is definitely going to be interesting to see how much they expect of me for not giving me a pay raise, and I will definitely be arguing against that as soon as I feel like I can. But yes, so that's a little work life update that nobody really asked for, but there you go. I remember the phone this thing saw war. It really did. That poor thing. It's sitting in my little drawer now. It's the battery has died on it. I mean, the battery has died in that I have not charged the device. I'm sure if I plugged it in, it would charge up just fine. Um, that poor little phone. And welcome in, Trickster. Monty, welcome in. Loving things to their last breath. It's true. It is simply my way. Let me go ahead and swap to my other screen here so you can see the man. There he is. And I thought I hit enter on this, but apparently I didn't. Let me send this real quick. Go. Since I'll be more busy, please make sure to also take time to rest, take care of your health. Thank you. I really do appreciate that. I get really frustrated with myself, which I know it's not necessarily quote unquote, you can't see me, but I'm making air quotes. It's not necessarily fair to myself because I do work full time. My job is pretty demanding. But man, I get so frustrated when I can't keep up with art. Uh, I do both art and writing, but I can't update people on writing as much as I would like to. I don't know. I'm It's just between us. It's a secret, so don't tell anybody. Just between us, I'm considering whether or not I start up a newsletter to specifically give updates on the writing process. That'll be something that I do probably with a little bit of Patreon and then just like a normal newsletter that would be like email. Especially because God damn it all, everywhere is just so filled with AI slop, and I'm just. By the way, sorry, my brain is going a million miles an hour this morning. I have an energy drink. I have a big jug of coffee. Work has been crazy. It's been a whole thing. So, fun fact, and by fun fact I mean not fun at all and actually very upsetting. But Immolation was scraped for AI training. Yay! So just like literally every other author almost, my work has been scraped to train AI without my consent or permission. So that's fun. It was done by Meta, so Facebook and I was gonna say yeah, Facebook. I was gonna say Facebook and Instagram. So I am not sure what I'm going to do about Instagram. I don't like being on the platforms that have scraped my work. I understand that it's a big corporate entity and it's not personal, but it's really, really hard to justify staying on the platform that scraped my work, just like it scraped everybody else's. Um, but I have to be on the platforms in order to post my art and reach people. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm still undecided what I do about whether or not I stay. A lot of people have left, understandably. A lot of people have left Instagram because of it. My editor, the absolutely phenomenal editor that I worked with to line and copy edit the Immolation manuscript, she left. She left Instagram, and I do not blame her at all. Um, it is just my Instagram is also very quiet. I don't really get a lot of interaction on Instagram, and that's not unique to me. I used to get a lot of interaction on Instagram, and just as they've changed the algorithm, they took away tags, they did all this stuff, and it's kind of harder to reach anyone on Instagram these days. But I don't know. I'm really undecided because especially when I work full time, I don't have the time to be investing a ton of time in like min-maxing the algorithm to have any reach on social media. I don't know. It's frustrating. Is all I'm gonna say. It was scraped for AI training. You're joking. What the hell? Can you sue them? So I don't have the money to sue them is the big thing. If there are any like class action things that come in, yeah, it's one of those things where I don't have the money in order to protect my work. I my work is copyrighted, so it's in the process of being registered with in America. This is unique to America. It'd be different depending on where you live, but in America you would be registering it with the Library of Congress. So technically in America you have copyright as soon as you write your work. It's yours. However, if you want to register a copyright, there's a fee that you pay and you have to submit it and you have to have proof of blah blah blah. So I'm doing that, but that just AI doesn't care. Meta doesn't care. And yes, Immolation was one pirated, so it was pirated to a database. So someone somewhere got a hold of the book. Either they got a hold of the ARC, or they bought the book or the ebook. It would have been the ebook. So either they bought the ebook, or maybe they got it during the free sale. I don't know. Or maybe they are someone who took one of the ARC copies, um, and they put it on the pirate database where you can just read free books that people have pirated. And then that database was the one that Meta paid to scrape. So first of all, it was pirated, which isn't fun, and then it was also scraped for AI training. I did go in and I verified that it's in there. Unfortunately, yes, now you can technically prompt for my writing and it will give you back my writing. So that's very not fun. But again, there isn't really very much I can do about it at all because it takes an incredible amount of money for no help back, right? Like you're not gonna get anything. You're probably gonna lose, first of all, because I don't have the assets to tackle this big corporate entity. And even if I did get something back, it'd be like, what? They'd say, oh, well, your book sells for $7 or whatever. Here's $7 back. That wouldn't even cover lawyer fees. So yeah, it's just, it's a conundrum. We truly live in a society. What is Blue Sky? Blue Sky is very similar to Twitter. It functions, well, okay, hold on. Before I say that, does Blue Sky have tags now? I know that Blue Sky is basically still in the process of kind of getting features added to it. I technically use tags, but I don't know if you can actually search them. But it is very similar to Twitter in terms of like what Twitter used to be. I have a soft spot for Tumblr. I absolutely love Tumblr. Like back in the day, I was all over Tumblr. It was a ton of fun. I used to make GIF sets of different games back on Tumblr. Those were the days. Those were the days. I don't know if there's really enough people on Tumblr for me to warrant trying to build any kind of following there. Um, I don't know. I do want to try to get off of Instagram after the whole Meta AI scraping thing. But yeah, I don't know. It's really hard because I don't have a very large following, so I can't say, "Hey, everybody, I'm going to Tumblr. Bye." And especially, as someone who is a very small time creator, I have like maybe like I don't know, 4 or 5 people that are this is typically how it goes, right? So you have a certain amount of followers, and you have, let's say, 300 followers, right? Only a small percentage of those are actually going to interact with your content, right? So there's only going to be a small percentage of those who actually view it or like it or comment on it, etc. Um, which isn't a complaint in any way, but it just means that when you have people who are active and you know that they aren't interacting somewhere else, when you're a small creator, you really, at least, okay, I, as a small creator, I'm only speaking for myself. I really don't want to abandon those people because they've been kind enough to support my work and to show interest. And I don't just want to be like, well, bye, you have to now go to the extra effort of getting a whole other social media account if you want to follow my work. That seems like a lot to ask of people who are kind enough to support my work. So I don't know. It's difficult. It's a tough decision. I do have a blue sky. I guess I can put the blue sky in the chat. Let's see if I can do that real quick. There we go. That's my blue sky. Tumblr, you should put 100 of tags. I remember Tumblr is such a weird beast. I remember back in the days of posting gift sets, I would put tons and tons of tags. And then I think there was some sort of change where they're like, oh, you can only put 5 tags. I'm like, well, that's weird. And now I just put whatever. Whatever I want. Okay, there we go. I have about half of my energy drink left. We'll see how far this takes me. On Tumblr, preferably, yeah, to make content, excuse me, to make content for fandom. Making a blue sky account to follow you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And my energy drink went down the wrong pipe. Tumblr, when I say big on Tumblr, I don't mean that I had a lot of followers. I mean big in the sense that I was really actively using Tumblr. When that was like my primary social media, I was making fandom content, right? So I was making gift sets for a bunch of different games, like Dragon Age and Final Fantasy 14, and all these games. Greedfall, I made some gift sets of that. That was all fun back in the day. But making original content is much harder, and especially when I'm not only making art, but I'm also trying to post writing. It's very hard to get people interested in writing, which is fine. But basically, in order to build a following, what I'd probably have to do, and I don't necessarily have time or the inclination to do this, but the way that the game works, the way that you have to play the game, is you have to create an account, you have to post fandom content of some kind, so fan art or fan fiction, something that will get fandom to give your account attention. And you build up a following with that, and then you slowly start adding in your own original work, usually in the form of like an original character that's specific to the fandom. And then gradually you can kind of wean people, not everyone, you're going to lose a portion of your following, but then you can kind of gradually try to pull those people in to your original content, and then deviate away to sticking with original content versus fandom. But that's just... I know that that's how the game is played. I understand that. But first of all, I don't have time. I really don't have time. And then I understand that this is to my detriment. Detriment. Oh my goodness. I understand this is to my detriment, but that feels dishonest to me, and I don't like doing that. Because I would only be doing it in order to pull in followers, and that doesn't feel like the right reason to do something. If I'm going to be creating something that's artwork, I want it to be genuine. So I would create fan art if I had something that I really, really loved, um, rather than doing it specifically to pull in followers. Just that doesn't. And I know that's naive in our day and age, and the way that social media works, but alas, that is how my brain works, and I can't change. I also refuse to change. Anyway, okay, hold on. Let me finish off my little. Well, okay, I'm not going to be able to chug the rest of this energy drink, but let me drink some of this, and then I'm going to actually pull my tablet closer instead of my keyboard. Also, following me on every social media possible. Thank you so much. I cannot even begin to express how much that means to me, so thank you very, very much. If you are ever looking for a specific social media, if you go to my website, which is just diestrefo.com, it's very easy to find. I've got it posted everywhere. At the bottom, in the footer of the webpage, there are icons for all of my different social medias. So you can find them there if you are looking for something I was gonna say in specific, in particular. So you can't find it there. And speaking of Tumblr, sure, why don't I just post this stream up on Tumblr? Why not? Trickster, you have a question? What is your question? I'll start tweaking. I can't do what I want to do until I've printed the stupid thing on my laptop to start. Oh no, the update. Printed as in like printed something on paper, or printed as in like 3D printed? Post this. What if I want to draw Cyril erotically? Is that okay? Or go ahead and are you in the Discord? I'm so sorry. I can't keep track of who is in the Discord if the usernames are together. Usernames are different. Oh my goodness, sorry. I read Heaven Keep It Together and I just said the word together. Um, if you're not in the Discord, or if you follow me on some sort of social media, just go ahead and send me a message. Just tell me what it is specifically that you'd like to draw. Usually, as long as you ask me permission first and you kind of give me a general idea of what you'd like to draw, then usually I'm fine with that. But yeah, just go ahead and send me a message. Kind of give me a quick description, and I'll let you know, yes or no. Yes, you're in Discord. Say okay. Thank goodness. Okay, I thought so, but I don't want to assume. Wars with printer. It's true. Super behind on college work. Oh man, I've been there. I feel you. I believe in you. Do your best. Okay, let me. I need to send this as an image. Hold on. cry. The laptop says there's an error with. Oh no. I would offer to help because I technically when I started college, I did start as an IT major. That changed, but I did technically start as an IT major. Alright, I actually have my tablet. Where'd my drink go? Hold on. Are there any details that will be added to Cyril? So I do want to add, well, first of all, to start, he needs, let me zoom in a little bit here. I'm just going to sketch them in. I'll render them properly later. But he does need his jewelry to start with, so he's going to have his rings. Oh, oops, that's underneath the line. Ah, whatever, I'll move it later. His earrings. His finger's at a weird angle. Anyway, so I'll need that. Technically, his sash, I could do it either way, because he wears his sash both ways. But let's see, because yeah, that's on the side. So his sash would technically have like a long part that hangs down. So I could have that kind of drape over here. Or I could have it go this way. I'm not sure. I'm not sure where I want to put his sash yet, or if I'm going to include that. And then I want to render the fabric, and then he's going to be injured. That's why his shirt looks like that, is because he's injured. So I'll have to add wounds and so on to him. Will YouTube get mad at me for that? I don't know. Maybe. Let me see here. Oh yeah, technically. Oh, I didn't color that. Hold on. Let's see. This is the base color that I used. I guess technically you should be able to see. I don't know. I guess technically you should be able to see, like, some of his hair kind of behind him, like over here. I don't think you'd be able to see the actual, like, ponytail bit, though. I don't know. We'll see. I will fiddle with that. But I mostly want to render the fabric of his shirt, just because that sounds like the most fun. Oh, vampires got him. This poor man, and he was a fool, and he wore his white shirt instead of his cassock in this theoretical scenario in which I have made him not wear his cassock for some reason. Because if you read Immolation, you know that the cassock, like the actual vestments that the clergy wear, function as armor. Like vampires can't break through them. But his white shirt, it's just a shirt, so it doesn't protect him at all. Is he an adrenaline junkie? Maybe. You can shame him for that. He deserves it. Okay, let me see where I need to add. Is he an adrenaline junkie? Maybe. Man looking so smug when he's bloody and hurt. Benjamin's gonna keep him an earful. It's true. Benjamin is very exasperated by this grandpa. I'll have a little. This is probably the most cursed version of pen I've ever drawn in my life. Hold on. Live Ben reaction. Except Ben wouldn't flip somebody off. He's too decent to do that. Pretty sure Ben wouldn't even curse. I think that'd be you'd have to push him really really far to get him to curse. My pen ran out of ink. Oh no. It's just one thing after another for you this morning. Hang in there, Heaven, I believe. Grandpa, for a grandpa, this man preserved damn well. He ages like a fine wine, in that he progressively gets badder for you. Worse for you. Badder. Okay, everything's fine. I'm still a bit manic. Okay, I have a little bit of my energy drink. Hold on, let me try to finish this. Benjamin's also going to shame Cyril whenever he inevitably complains about his back hurting. Look at his posture and then imagine this man complaining about his back hurting after looking at his posture. Ridiculous. And a cigarette. Benjamin hates the cigarettes. Okay, so let's see. Shirt. Sure. I'll just start doodling and we'll see what happens. I don't have any references pulled up. Normally I would, but I don't feel like it. I'm channeling my rage about the piracy and the AI scraping into just not having any references. I also haven't decided where my light source is, so, there's that. I probably should decide that, but okay, fine. I will decide where my light source is. Just right. Let's go for because this is this blob down here. That's his desk, so he's gonna have candles and stuff on his desk. So let's assume that the light source is down here. Oh. Dia, how do you feel about people cosplaying your characters? I would love to see it. I am all for it. 10 out of 10. So let's go. Okay, so let me think. So I did the light source. Okay. You can't ever say it. Cyril, you're one relatable shrimp, man. He's got to be relatable in some way. A Bronte cosplay would kill me. Same. Same. I would actually pass away in the best possible way. With dirty shoes right on the desks, loudly disapproval. True. Shame him for that. You know he'd absolutely shame someone else for doing that, but he'll do it himself. Dirty shoes, elbows on the table during meals. I think I ended up cutting the scene that I'm thinking of from the manuscript. I think. I think it was cut. There was so much cut and then added back in and everything that I can't remember off the top of my head. But there was a scene in, I think it was cut because I'm going to use it for book two, but it's not a spoiler or anything. But there was a scene with Mara, so Cyril's mother, and Cyril having dinner, and she kept eating a bunch of bread instead of eating her vegetables, and Cyril shamed her for that. And you know that he wouldn't think anything bad of it if he was doing it. But yeah, he'll definitely shame you for not eating your veggies. I'm gonna keep all the lines that I've done for the lining of his shirt, but we'll see. I know that this is a weird spot because there's tension in the fabric because of it going across his chest, and then it gets really loose. So I'm gonna have to go over that a few times. I also just realized I might be pronouncing Diastrefo wrong. How do you say it? So I say Diastrefo, but I've heard lots of people say Diastrefo or Diastrefo. I I really don't mind. It's just a username. I don't mind. People say Cyril's name differently all the time too. Sometimes people say Cyril. I have to think about it. I have to actually think really hard about it because I'm so used to saying Cyril. Some people say Cyril. But yeah, I say Diastrefo. It's just a username on the internet. It's not a big deal. You should see how people mispronounce my real name. Every single barista in my life never writes it right. I can always be my own Bronte. Real life Bronte, take my soul. I was a bit flipped when I saw colored refs for Cyril. Yeah, a lot of people are surprised by Cyril's color palette. Always drawing him mostly grayscale. Yeah, so I mean, I'm hoping that when I draw him in grayscale, I just realized I completely forgot to add his beard. No wonder his face looked weird for me. Anyways, I'll add that in a moment. Um, I try to make it so that it's clear that he is darker when I'm drawing him even in grayscale. So like his skin should be darker than the base gray that I use. But yeah, a lot of people are surprised by his hair color, which makes sense because how would you know that his hair color is teal? You wouldn't expect that necessarily. I even had a beta reader who was reading the manuscript before it got to the like the final editing stage, and she was super surprised by the unnatural hair colors because that's what they are. Yeah, it's funny to see people's different reactions. I just love colored hair. I think it's really fun. But yeah. So weirdly enough, I've had a few people who actually think, and look, no judgment, but like this is typically the color palette that I use for color palette, value palette, whatever you want to call it. Cyril's hair is dark. And yet I've had people who say, "Oh, I assumed his hair was supposed to be white." So, no, if it was white, I could still draw that when drawing in grayscale. I was so confused. But anyways, yes, Cyril's color palette does usually surprise people a little bit. Okay, so let's see here. I'm going to cut that for now and swap back to. It's not gonna be. All right, I'll try something different. Remember, I thought Cyril pronounced like Kirill. Yeah, yeah. Which technically none of them are wrong. It's just like what is it called? Location-based pronunciations of his name. So technically none of them are wrong. And Mara, technically, if she's speaking Cyril and hers native language, she probably does actually use Kirill sometimes. She probably she probably calls him that when she's she probably calls him that when she's mad at him. Like his full name, middle name, and everything. He hears that and he's like, oh no. Back when I first saw him on Tumblr, it was the teal hair that drew me in. Teal's one of my favorite colors next to red. Teal is also one of my favorite colors. Does Cyril already have a few gray hairs? Yeah, absolutely. very, very, very much, very much some gray hairs. Oops. Okay, yeah, that's fine. I think he manages to hide most of his gray hair because most of it is going to be near his temples, which get not shaved, but buzz cut, basically. So he does have some kind of up top, but basically most of it is like right in here. And that's kind of right where the line of his hair, like where the long hair is versus where the short hair is. So if he's feeling really annoyed by the gray hair, he can just whip the hair, the long hair over to cover. He doesn't care. But if someone was pestering him about it, he'd probably do that. He doesn't particularly care about his gray hair, though. He has other things to worry about. Okay, so I'm gonna do that. Let's see how this goes. Cut through this. I don't know if that line is going to stay there. Oops. Something to that effect. I'll have to come back to that. Silver has an urge to make bald Cyril art. There's so much cursed art of Cyril floating around. Please, his hair is like one of his only redeeming features. You can't take this away. I'm gonna have to adjust the wrinkles there so they kind of make more sense, but whatever, it's fine for now. I guess I could make it kind of look like because the intention here is that he's going to be wounded, so see, I'll just use black for now, just in case YouTube gets mad at me. Because he's basically going to have like scratch marks all over him. So I guess I could make it so that the fabric kind of snagged, bunched up over here. I guess that could work. Kind of add to some of the damage that the shirt has. I don't know. I'll think about it. Cyril after the cheese grater treatment. It's fine. He deserves it. I do wonder how his head shape would look. Like a normal head? He doesn't have a particularly odd shaped skull. I never considered that. Technically, when he was a little kid, he had short hair. And even technically when he was about, kind of like up to his 20s, like probably about the time he was 22, 23, he did have short hair. I mean, it wasn't like shaved bald or anything, but you know, he did have short hair. I wonder if I still have that art I did of younger Cyril when he still had both eyeballs and short hair. All of Minecraft Cyril coming up. Oh no. Cone. You don't want to admit it, but this is what peak male physical form looks like. That said, I literally do have a Cyril Minecraft skin. I technically have one for the pirate, and I have one for the priest. Dia, you have one of the most charming laughs I've ever. Well, thank you very much. I'm flattered you think so. Okay, yes, I'm going to lower. Ooh, actually, no, maybe I'm not. Okay, there we go. That's a little bit better. Show us the Minecraft cereals. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I have screenshots of them sitting around, so I don't have to actually open up Minecraft. God, where? Where would I have screenshots of them? Babel, Babel, I'm crying out for help here. Can I get an assist? I'm pretty sure I've sent you a screenshot of Minecraft Cyril before. I'm gonna dig through our DMs because that's the only place I can think to look. At least in Minecraft Cyril will be very portable. Just put him in a square suitcase, you're good to go. I can picture a little Minecraft Cyril with his little briefcase carrying around an even smaller Minecraft Bronte. I can picture that happening. Babel and I are both searching. Because the thing is, I know I have screenshots. I just don't usually save those screenshots. I use Lightshot, so I'll just take a quick screenshot and then I'll send it to friends, like here and there. But I don't save that image, so it's just lost forever. So somewhere in a Discord DM. Oh gosh, let's see if I can find it. I don't know if Cynthia is in the stream today, but I think I might have sent it to her before as well. Now, why did you say that? There's this I don't know if you technically consider it a meme, but there's an old picture that I did a meme drawing of Cyril with basically a guy who's it's like this Japanese guy and he's standing and he's holding two duffel bags and in each duffel bag is a girl and it's just her head sticking out. I could just picture that with Cyril with Bronte. If I can ever find that image again, I'll redraw it with Priest Cyril and Bronte. Okay, I'm determined. I have to find. uh, I don't know what word to search either in order to find it. Uh, Because yeah, the thing is like if you search for like priest, it's not gonna limit it down at all. Even just searching Minecraft isn't gonna limit it either, because I don't post a ton about Minecraft, but I do like some builds and stuff just for fun. I hate that's the comment that I made, Babel. Anyway, Babel found a picture. I'm just gonna have to open the launcher, huh? Fine, okay. My computer might lag a little bit if I do this, but I'm just gonna open the launcher and see if I can get screenshots that way. Oh, goodness. Cynthia, you are here. I'm so sorry to hear you're not feeling well. Thank you for lurking. I really do appreciate that. You found him? Hold on. Because Babel found a very cursed version of him with gold armor pants on. I found this. I found a bunch of Black Desert screenshots that I sent you. Hey, why did my art stop showing? There we go. Goodness, weird. Okay, let's see. Hold on. Thank you, Cynthia. You're my hero. Hold on, let me. Okay, this is the priest one. Oops. Babel, I don't know if I can say that. I don't know if I, I don't know if I can say that comment that I put on the message on YouTube without context. That's gonna be that's a bit much. Okay, hold on. I did find, well, I didn't find. Cynthia, bless her soul, found priest Minecraft Cyril. Look at him. There he is. What was I thinking when I said that? Oh my. Why do you let me say these things, Babel? Look at him. He's just a little man. Thank you, Cynthia. I'll put these in the Discord and I'll put the screenshot that Cynthia sent in the Discord for posterity. Let me send it real quick. And then I have I think that's the pirate one, Babel, the one that you found, where he's got pan. Oh no, that is the priest. I can tell by looking at it. Okay, so it's the priest. So it's the priest skin, because again, I have the pirate and I have the priest. He's so small and cute, he is. I was probably sleep deprived, and you were probably being a gremlin. Probably. That is typically the way with these things. If you guys want to see the very stupid comment that I made, I will post it in the Discord if you guys want to see it, but you can't judge me. It was a little chaotic. Also, wow, that was from 2024. That was a while ago. Please, I want to see. Okay, okay, hold on. I will put the entire screenshot for context. Oh, why am I the way that I am? Okay, it'll be in the video games channel. Uh, Dia, consider it an early birthday present. Please check Discord and she's okay. Hold on. Let me open up my DMs. Ooh, nice emoji. My hair down, very naked. These are both so good. How can you expect me to choose at a time like this? I love both of these poses. They're both giving such wonderful Cyril energy. I love them so much. Listen, I don't know what I don't know why that was the I don't know why that was the caption. No spoil, no spoil. Okay, I'm not saying a peep. Oh man, that's a hard that's a hard choice. They're both so good. First or second? Hmm. You've given me an impossible choice. I have to go second. I have to go second. I'm too curious. I didn't see the comment at first till I looked up. I I am not to be held responsible. And that was, anyways, that's Priest Cyril, his little Minecraft skin, which is very cute. I can't seem to find the pirate. Hold on, let me see if I do. Okay, here we go. I can pull him up in the launcher. Okay, there we go. I put him in the Discord. It's a tiny little screenshot. But there's a little pirate too. Okay, anyways, let me close that. All right. Okay, back to rendering his shirt. All right. Should I do two versions of the second sketch? I mean, pokes fingers together. If you want to do two, I would love to see both. But it's up to you. It's your art, your sketch. I am just blessed to see it. He's going on tiny adventures. He's just a little guy, just a little squared guy. Probably pocket sized. One of my goals eventually, because if you see me post about it, I haven't posted about it too much in the Discord. But if you've been in other streams where I talk about it, I collect resin dolls. They're one of my other primary hobbies. And all of my dolls are of characters like from the novel, from my writing. So I have Cyril, obviously. I have Bronte. But one of my goals eventually that I would really like to do is I'd love to get a little pocket-sized Cyril. I just think that'd be so fun. Just a little guy. I'm not entirely sure what that would look like, if it would be... Because I actually bought this itty-bitty guy who's like... Hold on, how tall is he? I have him right here next to me so I can measure him real quick. Let's see, how tall are you? I think you're like 20 centimeters tall. I don't know. No, that's too big. You're short. Hold on. I have a ruler. Let's see. How tall are you? Yeah, you're not 20 centimeters. You're a little shorter than that. He is about 17 centimeters tall. Let's see, 17 centimeters. In freedom units, that's about 7 inches. About 7 inches tall. And he's really cute. But unfortunately, this little guy, this little dude that I bought, he's not dark enough. His skin tone is too fair. I got the darkest color available, but he's too light, so alas, he will not do. I'll make you one. Eyes emoji. I would love to see a pocket cereal, just a little guy. If you want to make your very own little guy, your very own little pocket cereal, you have my blessing to do so. See where let's copy that. So that should be actually like that. Start rolling out the clay. Do you have a scar map for Cyril? So it depends on which version of him you're making. But I could get one. I could make one for you. A good luck companion. Questionable companions you have. He's probably good luck, at least a little bit. I always forget. Remind me more often of the atrocities he's done. He's good luck in certain circumstances. He's just. It depends. It depends on what your goals are. If you want to commit some of your own atrocities, he's probably very, very lucky. Okay. Okay, so I added the shading for that. Okay, I'm probably because his leg is gonna be. I'll worry about that later. Okay, so for now, I'm going to hide that. Does this include his face? Yes, it does. Okay, that's good stuff. I never remember how I block out my areas because his hands are separate. So if I try to like draw over his hand, can't do that. If I try to draw over his sash, can't do that. But his face, yes, I can. All right. Let's see. So if that's the case, I guess I can just render his face at the same time. That's fine. Do that. The H1, please. Feeding all my daddy issues. Fair. Fair enough. I'll be sure to get that to you, no worries. Don't mind me asking, would Cyril be a nice dad? It's really it's really hard for me to picture a Cyril who would settle down and like raise a family. That's not really something he necessarily wants to do in any incarnation. He's okay with kids. He's decent with kids. If you've read Immolation, the kids usually like him at the church, and he does care about kids. Like he wants what's best for kids. But would he be a good dad? I don't know about that. Wait, actually, I think instead, because he's got the light sources. Interesting. Okay, I'll have to think about that. Again, I don't have a reference. I really should, but I'm not to be held responsible. A good uncle, a terrible father figure. Pretty much. He's the cool uncle, who you see very, very rarely. He always brings really cool souvenirs, gifts, but he's not necessarily the best role model that you'd want around. I don't know, like having his own kids would be way too much, way too much dedication to ask for from him. He's not the type. He struggles enough as is to keep up with all the orphans that are technically his responsibility at the church. And in any other incarnation, he likes to wander, so he doesn't want to be stuck taking care of some kiddos. Okay, so let's see. Sometimes I forget that he's jacked as hell. Another one of his very few redeeming features. My dad pulled me away from the stream to make me watch Tiny Eyes. I'll send a link in a Discord. I'm so confused. I have no idea what that is. Dragging a child around on vampire hunts probably wouldn't have helped their mental development. Probably not. Cyril was nice to Bronte as a little kid, though. Nicer than than he is now. Shame him for that, but still. But he's only, well, not necessarily true. He's nice to church kids. He's nice to the kids who, mind their manners and, are following the rules, going to school. But if he met like a scrappy little kid like on the street who was trying to pick pockets, etc., he's gonna twist their ear and shame them for that. That it's not necessarily gonna be very nice to them, which is very hypocritical of him. But I did tell you that. You didn't hear it from me. You can't really see it. Gonna go in a bit and practice my martial arts with my dad so I can get big moves and abs like Cyril. Ooh, my neck. Also, sorry if you heard that. I have no idea what my mic can pick up or what it can't. I actually had to get a new headset because my other one broke, and I'm still mad about that because I don't like spending money. And you know me, I use my things until they break, but this one broke because of a design flaw, and I'm really mad about it. Oh well. Okay. I said all that guck about how I was gonna render his face, and then I didn't. Guess I should do that. Alright, let's see. I don't remember. Let's switch down there. I'm sorry, Cyril, you look not like yourself without your beard, but I will add it later. Breaks neck. Oops, my neck. Listen, that was the crack that I got was pretty tame for mine. Usually it's a whole symphony of crackles, but today it was just one. This time it was just one. Which one did you get? I got another one by whatever this company is, Arctis. I forget what they're called. I got another one. It was slightly newer, but the one I got was used, so was a little bit cheaper. And it's in fine condition. I hate spending money. I hate it. I'm so frugal and I don't like having to replace things. I want to use them for a long time. I am not the ideal consumer. But yeah, it's fine. It does the job. That's what I need. I do want to eventually. I eventually need to get a new desk mic. My old one that I used for, which I'm not sure if you'd be able to tell the difference unless you're really listening for it. I mean, I think it's there, but I used my old desk mic to record the audio for my Q&A videos. I don't like that desk mic. I don't like using a desk mic in general, especially when I'm drawing, because I bump it often, and it's just really uncomfortable to have in front of me. But I need the desk mic in order to record audio for a planned YouTube video that I have sitting in my to-do list. But I hate spending money. So I don't know. I don't think the audio quality of this headset and this microphone is acceptable to use for a video. But oh God, I really don't want to have to buy a new desk mic. The desk mic that I have is broken too. The stand doesn't work, so I have to actually physically hold it, which is why I don't use it for streams. But, anyways. Lilith, welcome in. It's good to see you. How are you today? On a scale of 1 to 10, how caked up is Cyril asking for science? That's a good question. I guess it depends on what your 10 out of 10 is. I'd say probably like a solid 8. Like a solid 8 out of 10. Good, slowly recovering from a cold. Oh no, I'm sorry you're dealing with a cold. I'm glad to hear you're on the mend. Cold. Nasty. Gotta go now. Enjoy the stream. Thank you so much for coming, Heaven. I hope you had a good time. I will see you next time, I hope. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. So also go to 22:37. Oh my goodness. Have a wonderful evening, Trickster. Thank you so much for coming to stream, even though it's so late for you. I really do appreciate that. Thank you so much for your support. I hope you have a wonderful evening. Will next time be 3 weeks from now? I will have to think about that. So I moved today's stream, and I mentioned this in the Discord post. I moved today's stream because it's Easter. And I'm sure glad my mom texted me to say, "Hey, can you bring bread from an actual bakery?" Uh, because otherwise I would have completely forgot that it was Easter. Um, so that's why I moved this stream to today instead of next week. I don't know if I will. I think it's been a while since I've streamed on YouTube, and I've missed streaming on YouTube. So I will probably just shuffle the days, and it'll be every other week. So I won't be streaming next week for Easter, but I will stream the week after. So it should only be 2 weeks. I think I don't want to have a huge gap on YouTube. So I think that's currently the plan. I think that sounds reasonable. Yay, thank you. Thank you, Vante. I really appreciate you guys coming to these streams and hanging out, and it's so much fun to talk with everyone, to chat. Yeah, I really, really appreciate it, so thank you so much. I was just a little late for goodbyes, but have a nice day, Evan Trickster. Yeah, for sure. What's the sound in the background? The buzz? I'm not sure. That could be many things. It could just be the microphone. It could be any noise in the house. I'm not sure how sensitive the mic is. I can try muting my microphone and you can tell me if the buzz goes away. Here, I will go ahead and mute for like 3 seconds. Did the buzz go away? And is the buzz back now? These streams are boosts of energy for me, so they're dearly appreciated. I'm so glad to hear that. That's wonderful. That's what I hope they are. I hope they're nice, pleasant times for everyone. The sound is gone now? You're good? Interesting. All right. Let's see, where is his sash? Because a sash could be fun to render. But I just like rendering gold, so I'm biased. Oops. If you can hear my tummy grumbling, I am so sorry. As is typical Dia fashion, I did not have any breakfast before starting stream. Energy drink on an empty stomach, probably not the best idea. However, I never said I was full of good ideas. How do you like your bacon cooked? I'm gonna be real, and I might sound like a fake American for saying this, but I'm not a big bacon fan. I know that the great debate rages over whether it should be like baked in the oven or fried in a skillet, but my breakfast protein of choice, usually sausage. I'm not a big bacon fan. And I am not a big fan of bacon and sweets. Like I know I totally get it, that the salty, savory, sweet, savory thing. Totally get it, totally respect it. But you will never catch me eating like bacon brownies or bacon chocolate chip cookies Never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. You can revoke my American card now. Bacon is too much sometimes. Pretty much. It's a little bit too greasy for me, and I understand that if you bake it, maybe it's not as greasy and so on and so forth. But why would I have bacon when I could have a perfectly delicious breakfast sausage instead? Like if you give me an option of like a breakfast burrito or a breakfast sandwich, and you have the option of bacon or sausage, I'm always gonna go for sausage. Just it's so much better. Oh my gosh, my stomach is crumbling because I'm talking about food. Oh no. For me, it's gonna be in a skillet. I respect it. I respect it. It's reasonable. I'd eat bacon alone. That includes brownies alone too. Yeah, I'll keep separate. I don't dislike bacon. In the words of B. Dylan Hollis, though he said this in regards to candy corn, bacon's not bad. It's just everything else is better, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm not a bacon hater, but it's never my first choice, and I'm a big like salty, savory, sweet person, but keep the bacon away from my brownies. Your brother likes raw cookie dough. Raw cookie dough is like a rite of passage when you're baking cookies. You always have to try a little bit as you're baking cookies. But I'm including the obligatory disclaimer of salmonella is a thing. Please don't eat raw eggs necessarily. I mean, have I known a single person who has gotten sick from eating raw cookie dough? No. But am I willing to risk it? Also, no. There are bakeries and shops, like at least here in my local area, that actually offer like edible cookie dough that doesn't have any raw eggs in it, so you can indulge to your heart's content. I don't really love the sash, but I'm gonna leave it for now. I can go back and change it. Not the raw dough. Did you ever did your like when my sister and I were kids, um whenever excuse me, whenever my mom would bake cookies, we had this ritual basically where one of us would get to eat the raw cookie dough from the bowl. Like, hold on, I'm getting ahead of myself. My mom would use a stand mixer when making cookies. So I'm not, if you don't own a stand mixer, hold on. So if you're not familiar with a stand mixer or you've never used one, like a KitchenAid basically, they kind of look like this. It's the worst. So they look like this. It's a little kitchen appliance. It's a piece of metal. It's machinery. And there's like a bowl. There's a special bowl that has like slots in the bottom, so it slots into place so it doesn't wiggle or move around. And then in here there's a engine and a motor up in here, right? And then it's got these little prongs that stick down, and to these prongs you can put in different mixers. You can use like a whisk if you want to make whipped cream or whatever. And there's basically a general like dough making one, and it looks kind of like that ish. I'm going off of memory, but it's like a white ceramic paddle kind of. It's got holes in it, like these are holes, and it's for combining like cookie dough and so on and so forth. And so my sister and I would basically always draw straws, and one of us got to eat the cookie dough out of the bowl, and one of us got to eat the cookie dough off of the paddle. And usually the bowl was the better option because it had more. But yes, that's something we used to do as kids. Does Bronte try raw dough? If she's making cookies, maybe. She's more in the habit of probably like testing food as she prepares it, because she's baking like to serve to other people. So sometimes you have to taste things as you're making them in order to make sure that you're on the right track. Like if something doesn't have salt or whatever, she probably does it in that context. But if she's gonna like make cookies or something, she'll she'll just make like a little portion of like safe to eat cookie dough probably for herself. I can picture that being something that she likes. It's like a very rare treat, probably. It probably wouldn't affect Bronte if she's a vampire. Well, she's half a vampire, so I don't know. Maybe that's her excuse to get out of work is, oh no, I had raw cookie dough and now I don't feel good. Sorry, I have to go sit in my corner and read my books all day. I think I don't think Bronte would be capable of that. I don't think she'd be capable of lying to get out of work. I think she'd feel too bad. She'd feel too bad about lying. She'd go confess to Cyril, and then she'd do a bunch of extra work to make up for it because that's the kind of person she is. Poor thing. Okay, so this. Hold on. No, I don't want this up here. Hold on. Put it down here. She's a professional apprentice. No, I've never been fascinated by raw dough, to be honest. I'm too patient for that. That's very true. It's one of those things where if you're impatient, you end up eating a bunch of cookie dough. Which is probably why my sister and I were so obsessed with it when we were little kids, because kids are super impatient. Alright, and that looks fine, except that I know that his quote unquote beard is going down onto his neck, because this is all the same layer, so hold on, I have to hide his shirt so I can fix that. Where's your shirt layer? Where did I put it? There we go. Yeah, you can see that it goes way below. Oh, so, speak of the devil, my mom is texting me. What is she texting me? Probably something about Easter. I know she wants me to bring bread, but she specified that she wants me to get it from a real bakery, like a nice bakery. So I can't just go to the supermarket and get bread like I normally do when she asks. She wants something special, so I'm gonna have to find a proper bakery. I'm gonna have to do some real searching to find that. I think she also wants me to bring veggies. So it gives off the vibe he would like cheesecake, but specifically blackberry cheesecake. I think I can picture Cyril liking cheesecake. I don't know if he's really particular about the berries, though. I don't know if he's a huge berry person. I'd say he likes dark chocolate and lots of vanilla. Yes, absolutely. Dark chocolate, 100% one of his favorites, and he's very partial to vanilla. 100%. Okay, so that should be... yeah. Okay, that's better. I can put your shirt back on. Sir, where is your shirt? There we go. Alright, hold on. She's texting me again. Oh gosh, okay, well she didn't send me anything about Easter. She sent me, oh my goodness, she sent me a picture. Apparently, she and my dad must be on their way down to the marina to get their boat out of the, well, get their boat back in the water, since it's the time of year where everyone takes their boats out of storage after winter, just to make sure everything is in operating order. And oh goodness, she sent me this screenshot of someone on the road in front of her, and they're hauling what looks like it's a jet ski, probably to the lake or to the marina, and they're just scraping it along the road because their car isn't big enough to actually haul something. They've got like this little four-door sedan. Oh my goodness. Ridiculous. Okay, anyways. Well, that has nothing to do with Easter or bread. Shenanigans. Right, so Cyril's rings and his earrings are on the wrong layer because they're beneath the lines for his head. So... let's move those. I know that poor. Well, luckily, well, not luckily, but luckily, I think the little jet ski itself was safe, but the little, I'm not sure what the proper term would be. The rack, I guess, holding it for hauling purposes, which was metal, was just scraping along the road as they drove, which, oof, goodness. That can't possibly be legal. That sounds dangerous, but hopefully they get that sorted out. I can imagine him trying to act stoic while enjoying something like dark chocolate or vanilla. 100%, especially if Bronte made him something that had dark chocolate or vanilla, like if she baked him something, he would be fighting for his life trying to act nonchalant and casual while having something very delicious that she made for him. Okay, so let's see. I guess now would be. Do I want to do the trousers or do I want to do his boots and his gloves? Because they're both the same texture. I will do the trousers for now. I'll see if I can do his gloves and his boots by end of stream, but we will find out. The ship his trousers, yes. How do you celebrate Easter? I don't think I know much about American traditions. So, well, as our current political situation will tell you, without getting too political, America is very much a Christian nation in terms of a lot of the national holidays, like Easter and Christmas are traditionally Christian holiday. Well, they weren't originally Christian holidays, blah blah blah. We could talk about the history, but it's beyond my scope. But basically, America tends to follow like a Christian-centric holiday pattern. So we have Easter, Christmas, and so on. Easter, my family tend to be pretty standard, pretty bog standard American conservative Christians. That's what they are. So they tend to stick to the specific style of, well, style isn't the right word. Denomination is the appropriate word, but they tend to stick to the specific denomination of Christianity that is very popular in the United States, which does include celebrating Easter. They don't celebrate Easter in the same way that like a Catholic Christian would or an Orthodox Christian, but they do generally celebrate it as the resurrection of Jesus Christ. That's what the celebration is for. And typically that's just celebrated by going to some sort of church service on Sunday, Easter Sunday. There will be, some special sermon or whatever it might be. And then typically you're just expected to have some sort of luncheon or, meal after that. The bread that my mom wants me to get is hot cross buns, which are also pretty traditional. They go on sale about this time of year in supermarkets and bakeries, etc. So that's something that my mom wants me to get. Beyond that, you probably have, like, if you have young children, which no one in my family currently has young children, so we're not participating in this. But it's also very common for families to have, like, some sort of Easter egg hunt as well. That's usually an event for children. I'm not sure if that happens elsewhere. Those are usually hosted by churches or community centers, and they're just an Easter egg hunt where kids look for eggs, usually dyed, colored eggs, usually plastic, and they have candy and prizes and stuff inside of them. Because no one in my family currently has young children, we're not doing any of that. We're just doing like the church service and the luncheon afterwards. So that's pretty much the extent of it. That's, I would say, pretty standard for most American, like, conservative Christians, again, Protestant Christians, which is generally what the national holidays are based on. We do have a pretty large population of like Orthodox Christians and Catholic Christians, but in terms of like national holidays and traditions, they tend to follow conservative Christian Protestantism kind of as their base. So yeah, my family also, again, because we don't really have any young children in the family, we don't really dye eggs. We used to when we were kids. Like when my sister and I were kids, we would get the little tablets and dye eggs in fun colors. You put stickers on them and so on. But you do that with real eggs. Like you just hard boil them and you do that. You eat them. You eat them later. The fun is then decorating the eggs. But again, because my family doesn't have any children, young children at that age, pretty much everyone are adults right now. Yeah, we don't have any kids that age, so none of that. Just a luncheon and getting together with family will have, I believe, my grandpa and his wife. I don't think anyone else is coming. Well, obviously, myself, my sister, her husband, my mom, my dad, etc. I loved Easter egg hunting as a kid. They would either have money or candy. Yeah, same here. But like when you were a little kid doing the Easter egg hunt, it was like they're little plastic eggs, and you could probably fit, a couple coins in them. And so we were super excited when we got like 25 cents or a dime. But the really, really special ones, you would even get a whole $1 bill. That was big money when you were a little kid. I actually think that the White House does an Easter egg hunt on the White House lawn. I'm pretty sure they still do that. We still dye the eggs with my mom each Easter. It sounds fun. It sounds really cute. My family, I guess, is just too busy to do that. I'm sure when my sister and her husband have kids, which I'm assuming they will. They both have been talking about wanting kids eventually. I'm sure kind of when they have kids, my family will probably pick up that tradition again and we'll start doing it for a while. But for now, I think we're all just a little bit too busy. Then again, my my mom, if she wants to do something, she will make it happen. So like if she wants to come Christmas time, decorate gingerbread houses, even though that's something we really only would do back when we were kids, if she decides she wants to do it that year, she's gonna do it, and we're gonna be invited. So it just depends. Is Theo also coming? Absolutely. It'll be Theo, my sister's dog. It'll be Rocky, which is one of my parents' dogs, and then Lucy. So it'll be three dogs, three little poodles. My aunt and uncle would sometimes put 20 bills or 10. Whew, that's big money. Yeah, we didn't go, we didn't get that kind of money when we were kids. My dad's work used to put Easter egg hunts on, and there would be one golden egg with $100 bill inside. Even the adults would go running and search for it. Yeah, I remember when I was really, really little, my parents were going to this particular church that we didn't end up going to for very long. But my sister and I participated in the Easter egg hunt when we were little, little kids. I think like 4 and 6, maybe, about something like that. And what they did when the kids were really, really young, like my sister's age, right? Like we were 4 and 6 or thereabouts. When we were really, really little, they would pair us up with kids who were a little bit older. So I was paired up with some boy who was, I think, about 13, maybe 12 or 13. And the older kids were supposed to help, the younger kids, reach eggs that were up too high for them, or, help them search if they were struggling to find things, and so on and so forth. And the kid that was with me, the boy that was with me, I forget his name. He was a really nice kid. I just don't remember his name. Um, but he found one of the quote unquote crystal bunny eggs. And I can vividly remember what it looked like. Let's see. So we had the normal Easter egg, right? Which is plastic, and it's basically got a little hinge on one side. It cracks open. like so, right? It's about the size of a chicken egg, probably a little smaller. Well, these quote unquote crystal bunny eggs, and I vividly remember them being called that, were much bigger, first of all, so they could fit way more stuff in them. But they also had basically these solid, and this whole thing is solid, right? So you can't tell what's in it. It's just a random color plastic, usually like a pastel color. But they had these eggs that were like solid plastic down on the bottom, usually like a particular color. The one that we found was blue and had a really, really tall, clear. This part was clear. It had ears and it had like so anyways, it looked like that. And this whole like upper part that was all clear plastic, and then it would have, let's see, it would have tinsel inside, so you couldn't really see what was inside. But those had like a couple dollars in them, like up to like $5 in them, and they had way more candy because they were so much bigger. They had way more candy and some money in them, and they were very, very limited. And if you got one of these, I think there was only like five in like the whole churchyard where you could search. And if you got one of those quote unquote crystal bunny eggs, then it meant that you got this like massive, massive, Easter basket thing filled with all sorts of candy and toys, useless plastic, all sorts of stuff. So, anyways, myself and well, it wasn't me. I was like 4 years old, just kind of being led around. But the kid that I was teamed up with found that, and he gave it to me, and I was very, very happy. And I remember that it was blue. It was a blue crystal bunny egg, so that part was all blue. Very cute. And I rubbed it in my sister's face because, of course, we were very, very competitive when we were kids. $100 bill and a golden egg. Yeah, it's a good motivator to get people to show up on Easter Sunday. I know, it was super, super cute. I still remember my mom making Easter egg baskets for me, yet she doesn't do it anymore. Yeah, my mom made my sister and I Easter baskets for quite a long time. I think she still kind of does. She doesn't necessarily get the whole basket, but she still gives my sister and I candy each year for Easter. Just like a little candy bar or something. She'll still give that to us. Just like my mom will still do stockings for us for Christmas. If you celebrate Christmas and your parents do Christmas stockings, my mom will still make those for us each year. Your mom is so precious. She is. She's very sweet. She was actually, I went over, I think I sent a picture in the Discord. I actually had just gone over to my parents' house to pick up a parcel that had been shipped to them, which, long story, I thought I was moving house, and then I wasn't, so I had temporarily routed some of my parcels to my parents' house so that things would come to me where I am here because I thought I was moving and so on and so forth. So now that the parcel had arrived, I went to their house to pick it up. So I was only intending to just swing by their house and pick up the parcel and be on my merry way. But when I got there, my dad was in the back garage working on his new car, which is an old car, but it's new to him. He got a '68 Dodge Charger, I believe, and he's been working on restoring it, so currently he's in the process of tearing out the engine. So I didn't plan to participate in that, or didn't go over there knowing that that's what he was up to, but I just happened to notice that the garage door in the back of the house was open, and I said, oh, I'll swing by and I'll see what's going on, see how the car is doing. And that turned into basically everyone, the whole family. So myself, my sister's husband, my sister, my mom, etc. We were all back there helping my dad, work on the car. And then that turned into, we'll just have dinner together and then so on and so forth. And then kind of as I was leaving, my mom said, she's like, hey, by the way, I really, really, really need you to bake chocolate chip cookies. Because my sister actually owned, she doesn't anymore, but she owned her own bakery and sold chocolate chip cookies professionally. But my mom insists my chocolate chip cookies are better. So she just kind of sheepishly pulls me aside and says, hey, if I don't have a batch of your chocolate chip cookies soon, I might die. She's like, so I really need you to bake chocolate chip cookies soon. I said, okay. So I'll probably do that. I'll probably do that for Easter whenever I go over there. Because she likes my recipe better than my sister's. And I also like my recipe better than my sister's. Whoops. Need to do that. Not sure if you guys can see that, but hopefully you can. There we go. I was fiddling with something and accidentally clicked on my stream layout. I love cookies. I'm a sucker for chocolate chip. Yeah, my favorite recipe is chocolate chip cookies. Like they're my go-to cookie for sure. I do like other cookies, but chocolate chip are the tried and true classic. And my sister usually, when she makes chocolate chip cookies, she usually does a very cakey cookie versus I do more of like a fudgy, chewy cookie, which is the type of cookie that my mom prefers. So I end up on chocolate chip cookie duty when we're together, which I'm not complaining. Whoops. Your mom should never say that to your sister. That's hilarious. I think my sister knows by now. It's been a few years of my mom saying, "Hey, I want chocolate chip cookies," and then my sister will offer, and my mom will say, "Thanks, but no thanks." Remember when I was in maybe kindergarten, I got into the cookies and lied about my brother eating them. I remember when we were growing up, my sister wasn't huge on chocolate chip cookies. Her big preference was peanut butter cookies. The whole thing where I don't know why we do this, but we take the fork and we like press the crisscross into them. I don't know why we do that, but yeah, those are my sister's favorite. Her family is great. I am very fortunate to have a very nice family, yes. Did you use a reference to draw the chair? So I did, sort of. I wonder if I can find it. Because I literally just Googled a Gothic chair. And let's see if I can find the one that I used. Uh, Yep, there it is. I changed it a little bit, obviously, but this is. I just searched up Gothic chair, and that's the chair that I grabbed as a reference. It's not exact, obviously, but I wanted something not crazy decorative, but something that still gives the vibe of like a Gothic cathedral would have this kind of furniture in it kind of vibe. So yeah, that was my reference. It's a pretty rough sketch, but that's all right. And now I need to do the bottom. That is a nice chair. It's a cool Gothic chair. Yeah. I wanted something that wasn't like what's a good way to word it? I didn't a way to word it that doesn't sound mean. I was like, I don't want a chair that looks like it came from Party City. Because I'll Google Gothic chair, right? And like that's a chair that it fits what I envision when I think of Cyril's office and his study and the general vibe of the furniture in Our Lady, etc. But like the other things that that come up when you Google Gothic chair is stuff like this, which is not the vibe that I'm going for. Like again, I don't want something that looks like it came from Party City. So yeah, I was going for something that looked like it had at least some foot kind of in reality with like historical accuracy, etc. But yeah, so that's why I ended up going with that resource. I think it was a good reference. Right. Okay, bottom. Well, I'm not super happy with the sash either, so I'm gonna have to redo both of these. It's alright. Stick with the foot. And fun fact, this is actually steel, but it's just been plated with the church's gold, which is very resilient and does not flake off or anything easily at all. But boy howdy, it would sure hurt if he stepped on you with these. Yeah, the light isn't going to be able to hit very much of the bottom of this foot, so... I want that. There's a time and a place for the bat chair, but but my sketch of Cyril is not that. And if you're wondering, yes, the bottom of his boots should have texture because they do have grip, but I just don't really feel like drawing it. So, because technically they've got like a it's got rivets down there at the bottom, and then it's got like a diamond pattern that's like recessed into it. Basically would look something like that, but I don't want to draw that. I do. Just don't want to do it. So I'm not gonna. Oops. His ankles look so delicate compared to his boots. His calves are so massive. His his ankles look really small. Okay, so I guess next it would be I'll probably do his gloves and then I will end stream because I am quite hungry. Oh gosh, where did I put his gloves? There it is. All right. I have to decide what I'm gonna do for lunch slash breakfast because I haven't eaten anything yet. Thing I do have is more coffee, which I don't mind if I do. To yeah. What are your current breakfast options? Let's see. Well, I've got cottage cheese, which is my usual breakfast staples. Can't really go wrong with it. Always good. I could make a sandwich, which is one of my go-to lunch options. Just a cold turkey sandwich, nothing special. Uh, I have some pretzels. Pretzels are cute. Nice little snack. Uh, let's see, what else do I have? I do technically have cereal for breakfast, but meh, I'm not in a cereal mood. I do have a salad. Salad has some arugula. eggs. I do have some hard-boiled eggs that I have ready. I have prepared some. Turkey sandwich with a salad. Can't go wrong. It's a tried and true classic. Good combination. I have some celery as well. Could make a nice salad with that. I think I have celery and carrots. It's too vague of a shape. Doesn't quite work. There we go. That's a little better. This one has more direct light, so I have a better idea what to do with it. I also have some lentils. If I do like a chilled salad, I could do some lentil and some celery. That sounds pretty good. That ring is a really, really rough sketch. I'll have to fix that later. That's alright. Okay. It's not perfect, but it'll do. I'm pretty happy with that for at least a day's work. I used to just eat celery on its own. Hey, I eat celery on its own too. It's super yummy. You don't like celery? Celery's one of my favorites. How could you? Carrots and celery. 10 out of 10, match made in heaven. I put celery in anything and everything that I can. It goes in soups, it goes in salads, everything. But alright, I am going to call it a day for the stream. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you guys had fun. I, again, will be resuming stream normally, so it won't be a 3-week break, it'll only be the normal 2 weeks, so not next week is Easter, but after that, I will be back at it. I do plan to be back here on YouTube. I enjoy streaming games, but I really don't want to neglect my YouTube, because I know that could very easily happen, and I want to really avoid doing that as much as possible, if I can, because I really do want to build my YouTube as much as I can. I would like to do more videos, and all sorts of stuff, so Thank you so much for coming and hanging out. I hope you guys had a good time. It was fun to talk about cookies and celery. Thank you so much for the support. I really do appreciate it. And I will see you next time. Have a good weekend.